SpaceX's giant Starship rocket has successfully launched and for the first time ever returned from space. And the test marks a major milestone for Elon Musk and his company. Starship reached space and then survived the heat of re-entry before landing in the Indian Ocean as planned. It's the largest and most powerful rocket system ever built. NASA hopes it will be a reusable vehicle for sending astronauts back to the moon. All right, let's bring in Scott Walter, an aerospace engineer who is at the Starbase launch site in Texas, and he joins us from there. Good day, sir. I understand you're going to show us around.
Yes, I am. And I'd like to say welcome to Starbase. I'm actually standing between the last two letters, the letter S and E, that form the iconic title that announces your arrival to the Starbase. And unfortunately, I'm standing in the shade right now underneath the solar panels that are used to help power Starbase. And as you may have noticed, right behind me over here, there is a blue Tesla with a Starlink antenna on it, and behind it, you will see the orbital launch mount right there, which at 7:50 a.m. this morning was still occupied, but right now is empty, making way for IFT-5, which will be the next attempt. The reason we were able to see those beautiful images coming live from space was because of the same technology that is bringing you this signal right now. That's the Starlink antenna system there and the Starlink satellites that are up there that allowed that to happen. So, as you mentioned, it was the first time they were able to successfully bring it in. They were not sure they were going to be able to make it all the way through. They thought it was probably going to break up, but it made it all the way down to the ocean with a soft landing. But more important, the booster, also a few minutes before, did the exact same thing. It was a perfect stage separation, a beautiful view of the hot stage ring just kind of drifting off into space, almost like it was being deployed as a satellite. We could see the grid fins were operating exactly the way they were supposed to. And the Falcon, the Raptor engines lit up right when they're supposed to, 1 kilometer above the ocean surface. It came down, and I was on a boat with some SpaceX engineers, and one of them said, it did a flex. It was like just doing a power hover right over before it dropped in. They were so ecstatic. They believe that probably IFT-5, they're going to attempt to catch it on land this time. There's a strong possibility. And the reason that's possible is because of what's behind me here right now. As you can see, these are the buildings of the build site. And what you might see behind me right here, right now, are the new orbital mount that they're building. So you can probably see those sections there. You might even see a red heart on one of them. And if you read the red heart, it says, stack me. They cannot wait to bring this thing out to the new orbital mount site. Now, why is that important for IFT-5? Do you know why?
Tell me.
They want not just redundancy, but what they would like to do is they are probably going to launch from orbital mount 1 because all the critical infrastructure is there. The tank farm and everything is there. And if things go wrong, you could have a big mess to clean up. So they're going to build a second mount further away that's just there to catch the booster or when it comes back. And so if something goes wrong, it's not going to be disastrous to the program. So right here, this is what's going to limit when that's going to happen. Is it going to be in 2 months? Is it going to be in 3 months? We don't know, but that is possible.
That is possible. A whole bunch of major milestones have been achieved. And it's been a very busy week for launches. I mean, meanwhile, Boeing Starliner has also, we understand, docked with the space station. And I mean, it took three ties, but yeah, exactly. A big thumbs up. In terms of goals, how encouraging are these developments, not just for SpaceX and Boeing, but for NASA?
Oh, it's big for Artemis because the SpaceX reusability is going to be key to the human landing system, to be able to refuel that, to be able to go back and forth between the moon. So it's critical we have these reusable rockets that can bring up the fuel they're going to need for being able to refuel in space. The last test launch, IFT-3, they demonstrated that they could do movement of fuel propellant from one tank to another. That had never been done in zero-G before, so that was demonstrated. They are confident they can do that. So this is absolutely critical. The other thing is there's a sense of urgency here at SpaceX. So all the engineers were told that when the launch was over, that they should come back to work by 11 a.m.
Oh, wow.
However, it was such a successful launch, they were all told, take the day off. Okay, so had things not gone 100%, they probably would have been in here going over the data to find out what's wrong. But as far as everyone's concerned, it's 100%. The only fly in the ointment is you may have noticed that right at liftoff, one engine was out. That was not a RUD, what they call a rapid unscheduled destruction, but it was probably some parameter was not quite right, and the computer decided not to risk it and did not let that engine go up, because they can have 3 engines go out and they can still safely launch. So that was not a problem.
No.
They were able to hit every single milestone they wanted on the way up, and most importantly, on the way down.
On the way down, because that, of course, is the brave new territory that's been broken here. Scott Walter, thank you so much for showing us around, breaking it all down, and congratulations to the entire team on this remarkable achievement.
Absolutely, and thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.